Hello everyone. Today's topic is carcinoma gallbladder in the series of gallbladder. Okay, so first of all, we will discuss the possibility in which you can find a patient who is having carcinoma gallbladder before discussing the incidence, the clinical features, investigation, and the treatment, because possibilities are very important. In this, what can happen is you see a patient who is having carcinoma gallbladder when you perform a surgery for benign disease, that is routine laparoscopic or open cholecystectomy, and you see on pathology that is patient is having carcinoma gallbladder. Second possibility can be it can be discovered intraoperatively, that you are opening the patient and intraoperatively you are finding the patient is having carcinoma gallbladder, or you have diagnosed the patient as having CAGB before surgery. So let us move further before we explain that possibility in the end of the lecture. So gallbladder cancer for most patients is a lethal disease with a grim prognosis. It is as grim as that the patient have median survival of less than 6 months and the 5-year survival is 5%. Now tumors in the body and fundus are relatively, you can say, not as bad as the tumors in the cystic duct and infundibulum, because in fundus there is no early involvement of inflow structures, but yeah, the segment 4b and 5 are involved early and resection is possible when you resect 4b and the 5 segments a margin of it. But when the tumor is at the cystic duct or the infundibulum, there is early involvement of portohepatitis, and this resection is difficult, and if it is done, there is major resection which is required, and the bile duct resection can also be performed. In this incidence, it is more common in females. It increases with age, that is more in 7th and 8th decade of life. It is a rare disease worldwide, but in India it is not so rare, as it is seen in Chileans, American Indians and residents in parts of northern India, where it accounts for as much as 9% of the biliary tract diseases. Etiology is unclear as of now, but we know that chronic inflammation plays a significant role. Like in a pre-existing gallstone disease, the risk of carcinoma is increasing directly with the stone size, as in calcification of gallbladder where there is chronic inflammation, which is also called as porcelain gallbladder, there are chances of increased malignancy. You should also know that stipple calcification carries a more risk than diffuse calcification. Chronic inflammation carries a risk because biliary enteric fistula have a chronic inflammation as a factor, you can say. Chronic infection also carry a risk for carcinoma gallbladder, that is typhoid carriers are having significantly increased risk of malignancy as compared to general population. Anomalous pancreaticobiliary junction again has chronic inflammation as a component and carries a risk factor for carcinoma gallbladder. Gallbladder polyps, you know that what are those, but in majority these are either adenomatosis or cholesterol polyp. Adenomatosis or adenomatous polyp carries the risk of malignant potential, and the adenomatous polyp occur in 0.3 to 0.5% of the population. The risk of malignant transformation increases with increasing size of the polyp, and there are indication for cholecystectomy in a patient who is having polyp, that is the size is more than 1 centimeter, the polyp is single, and the age is more than 50 years of life. This picture is showing a polyp which is there and which is a single polyp, and there is no acoustic shadowing which can be there in gallstone. The pathology, it can be infiltrative, it can be nodular, it can be papillary, it can be combined nodular or infiltrative, it can be combined papillary infiltrative. The tendency of spread is by lymphatics, hepatogenous, peritoneal, along biopsy tracts and the wounds. Now majority of the malignancies are adenocarcinoma. Squamous cell carcinoma also occur and are believed to arise from the mucosal squamous metaplasia. Neuroendocrine tumor is also a type. Sarcoma sarcoma is also a type of the tumor. At operation, localized carcinoma is very difficult to differentiate from a benign condition which is known as chronic cholecystitis. The tumor most commonly is nodular and infiltrative with thickening of the gallbladder and often extending to the whole gallbladder. The clinical feature are patient may be asymptomatic at the time of diagnosis, like patient feel does not have any symptoms, and the symptoms if present are usually indistinguishable from the benign gallbladder disease like a biliary colic or a acute cholecystitis or chronic cholecystitis. Jaundice and anorexia are late feature if they are there. The it is a late sign. Also, a palpable mass is a late sign in the gallbladder carcinoma. So there is a summary box in the Bayesian lab which says that gallbladder cancer is very rare. It has similar presentation to benign biliary disease, that is gallstone. It is diagnosed by ultrasound, CT, MRI or MRCP. Most patients present with advanced diseases and surgical resection in less than 10% of patients is possible, and remainder receive palliative treatment, and prognosis is very poor as you have seen. Median survival is approximately 6 months. Now this is a patient showing peritoneal metastasis on laparoscopy. Now investigation which can be done are laboratory investigation which are non-specific. Serum 99 calcium serum CA99 is elevated in approximately 80% of patient, and CEA is also raised, but that is not very specific. Preoperative diagnosis, as you have seen in the table, can be done by ultrasonography, confirmed by CT scan or MRI, and significance of all of them I have covered in a separate lecture. You must have seen that in investigation of the gallbladder. So preoperative staging aims to determine the local extent of the disease and also exclude the presence of distant metastasis. PET scanning also has a role in detecting metastatic disease. Now, a percutaneous biopsy under radiological guidance is often done to obtain tissue for pathological examination, but this should be done only if we are not planning to operate the patient or the malignancy is non-operable, because you have seen that one of the ways of spread is through the needle side. In selected cases, laparoscopic examination is useful in staging the disease, as you have seen in the picture, which has shown the peritoneal metastasis, in which case you have to stop the surgery at that point only. Laparoscopy can detect peritoneal or liver metastasis, which would preclude further surgical resection. You know that. Aims of staging gallbladder cancer is assessment of the local disease and also detection of metastatic disease, that is liver, peritoneal, lymphatic, extra-abdominal disease. Now, treatment and the prognosis are: the majority of the patient have advanced disease at the time of presentation and are obviously not candidate for surgical therapy. Surgery is indicated in only very selected patient. The aim is to remove the tumor entirely and achieve negative histopathological margin, which is not always possible. So the staging you can see from the book, you can say from Shackelford's. So TIS carcinoma in situ, T1 invades lamina propria or muscle layer, T1B. T2 invades perimuscular connective tissue, T3 tumor perforates serosa, T4 invades porta vein or the hepatic artery, N0 obviously no stage, N1 positive regional nodal metastasis, and 2 is metastasis to pericaval, peri-aortic, superior mesenteric, celiac artery, and M1, M2 you know that, no and distant metastasis. So this is the pathway of spread: gallbladder to cystic node or gallbladder to pericholedochal node. If it is cystic node, again it will come to pericholedochal nodes. From here it is going into superior mesenteric, posterior superior pancreaticoduodenal, retroportal in the celiac, which is N2 group, and from here it can go to interaortocaval nodes. Now possibilities which we have discussed in the starting of the chapter or the lecture are: diagnosed following histopathological examination of the gallbladder, removed for presumed benign disease. So need for further surgery in this case is determined by the stage of the disease. So if the patient is T1A and you have performed the laparoscopic or open cholecystectomy, it is curative. T1B, it is you can say controversial, because if you perform simple cholecystectomy, there are high chances of recurrence. In T2 onwards, major resection is required, which will have resection of, if cystic duct margin is involved, resection of CVD is to be done. If diagnosis made by frozen, curative resection is to be done if possible. If diagnosis is made preoperatively, and if the invasion of hepatic inflow vascular structure is documented, extended right hepatectomy, plus lymph node clearance of hepatoduodenal ligament plus negative cystic duct or bile duct margin is required. If you find these things, nodal spread and metastasis, you have to abandon the resection. If CAGB suspected on clinical and radiological grounds, histological diagnosis is not necessary. You can operate straight away. Biopsy increases the risk of seeding. You have seen that if concerns of GB malignancy is significant, it is unwise to perform simple cholecystectomy. If unresectable disease, percutaneous needle biopsy is taken or done for the diagnosis and management on chemotherapy or palliative. So thank you so much. If any doubt, you can ask in the comment section.